Maria was visiting a friend. She needed to talk. And now HLNE, my husband, is counting on the money I earned, but he won't get it. This money did not come easily to me. I earned it additionally. I spent my time and energy on it. I have forgotten the last time I had a good night of sleep. Sometimes I could sleep for 6 hours, and I earned all that money because of my husband. Maria tells her best friend Ellen, Maria, I don't understand why he has the conscience to ask you for this money. Is he so brazen that he can easily take that money from you and go on vacation with his friends for a few days? He hasn't brought a dime into the family for 6 months. HLNE is outraged. Yes, Ellen, it sounds like you are right. My spouse has been getting me very upset lately, and I often think about divorce. On the one hand, it is a shame to get divorced. We lived happily for so many years and everything was fine. But for the last 6 months, my spouse hasn't worked anywhere at all. And for months before that, I had a part-time job, but it wasn't much. 13 years ago, Maria and Nikita got married, and they took a two-room apartment on mortgage and paid off the debt to the bank. Their marriage produced children. Their son is now 10 years old. Their daughter is 7 and in first grade. Maria had no complaints about her husband. He was always businesslike, earned good money, and tried to do everything for the family. Mesh also tried very hard to keep up with her husband. Additionally, she wrote texts for websites that sold clothes. Maria's earnings were small, but it was still extra money. After 4 years, Maria got a job. At first it was hard, because they had 2 children who went to kindergarten, but then everything got better. 2 years ago they paid off their debts ahead of schedule, and a year later they went to the sea with the whole family. After talking, the couple decided that it would be necessary to buy a 2-bedroom apartment because their children were of different sexes, so that each child has their own room. One evening my husband came home, not himself, and explained that they were being downsized at work and he had been affected. They are not leaving the best, but the most privileged, he told his wife. Maria supported her husband and tried to calm him down. She could not imagine that he would be out of work. Nikita, don't worry. With your qualifications, you'll definitely find a place. I don't even doubt it, she told her spouse at the time. But her husband's job search took a long time. Nikita started sending out resumes, but it was difficult to go on interviews while working, so he left them for the time when he would be out of work. Then he got payments at work and traveled a few places, but came back with nothing. In a few places there was an option to deceive employers, and in some places the conditions were not what was stated in the advertisement, but there were also good options. But for some reason Nikita was not suitable for the employer. 3 weeks later, the husband, not losing optimism, agreed to a part-time job offered by his acquaintance. It was a job without official employment, just an agreed job for clearly agreed money. After a week I received the money in my hands. After that I started looking for an official job again. Maria, don't worry. We won't be lost. I'll go as a career. If anything, Nikita joked. And after another 10 days he went as a courier. Then he still had some conscience, and at this point he was ashamed to sit at home for nothing, and it turns out to live on my money. And Marie realized that the family didn't have enough money, so she started working part-time again. She took on part-time jobs in the evenings, on weekends, sometimes having to sit up until 2 in the morning. And, of course, not getting enough sleep. She tells her friend, there was already a clear lack of money. Nikita has already begun to resent that because of his part-time work. He only ruins the car, and the income is small. Mother-in-law began every time she came to our nerves and said that it was necessary not to pay off the mortgage early and save money to have a safety cushion for a rainy day. Obviously, we could forget about summer vacations at the sea, and about a 3-room apartment even more so. Maria was very worried about finances and picked up even more part-time jobs, because fall was coming, and there would be a lot of spending to get the kids ready for school. Thanks to my parents for taking the children to the summer cottage for the whole summer. The kids really like it there. The only thing that annoyed the young woman was her husband, who did nothing, and almost every day they had quarrels about it. Nikita had finally given up his job as a courier 5 months ago. He sat at home, looking at vacancies and rejecting them all. I had already started to scandalize. I no longer had the strength to keep silent because it was difficult to live only on my salary alone, Maria tells her friends. I denied myself everything, saved on everything, and the money I managed to earn extra, I put aside. Some of that money had already been spent on the children as school needs, and some of it was left lying around. But Maria does not give up her part-time job. She has already gotten used to working hard and got involved. But from September 1, she will have to do her homework with the children. And it will take time. Her son is already involved and does his homework by himself. He only needs to be supervised. But my daughter is in first grade and she needs to be seriously tutored. And this again means time, which Maria is desperately short of. Her husband can sometimes do some studying too, but he doesn't really get involved. His motto is that it is done and that is fine. When Maria asks her husband when he will finally get a job, Nikita lists what he has done today. First, he took the children to school and then brought them home, cleaned out the kitchen and cooked a meal, and then he went to see about a job, but it was all dead. And I don't understand why you are so angry, Maria. We are not starving. We have money. You are saving. In any family there are hard times. Everything will work out and everything will be fine. Don't you worry, he replies to his wife. And I am already disgusted to look at him, says Maria. It is good that I have extra income. But to be fair, I probably should have spent it on myself too. And I don't even touch that money. I save it up and think, what if something unexpected happens so I don't have to borrow it? And I would spend less time working part-time if my husband worked. Nikita had his annual hobby. Every year, in the first days of October, he went fishing with a group of his friends. They went by car, a purely male group. They leave for about 8 days, sometimes for 10 days. They vacation in nature, live in tents, catch fish and then smoke and salt it. Maria was never against these trips of her husband. She understood that it was important for him. Since the second year, they have been traveling as a male group. In those days, only 2 of them had old cars. Now each of them has an iron horse and cars. All of them have jeeps and camping equipment, boats, warm tents, sleeping bags and trailers, and, of course, equipment for smoking fish. And these trips with friends have never been a financial problem for Nikita. He also drove during the difficult time of mortgages. And this year he is going to go. Maria resents him. You can imagine, H.L.N. He has a lot of money in his pocket, and my husband is tired and needs a vacation. I don't see anything wrong with that. There are no decent jobs yet, because everyone from our company is going. The guys have already taken their vacations. The husband doesn't understand. But you don't have money for the trip, Maria answered him. Everyone from your company is going, but they all work and earn money, and you have been without a penny for a long time. So you have money. The husband doesn't understand. I'll have a rest with the guys, and when I come back, I promise you, I'll go to the job I'll be hired for. I can tell the guys that I don't have a penny, Maria replies to her husband. The husband has already counted everything. All the money that Maria has put aside is enough for him. Means she'll be replenishing her piggy bank soon. And he was determined to go to work wherever he could get a job. That is what he wants. I am not going to spend my little safety cushion on your stupid vacation. You earn money first, and then you can go wherever you want, Maria replied harshly. And don't tell me that you are ashamed in front of your friends, that you have no money. But you are not ashamed in front of me. And you are not ashamed to take the money from my part-time job, which I earn bit by bit, depriving myself of sleep and rest. And on top of all that, you are not tired because you didn't do anything. I didn't expect that from you. I never reproach you with money, Nikita said resentfully. You didn't earn any money when you were on maternity leave, but we took an apartment and bought a car. And you, by the way, you lived and you didn't need anything. And now you want some miserable money for me? You've only been working part-time. You think you'd be tired. Maria couldn't take it anymore and sent her husband away. For 3 days now, they haven't spoken. The husband does not want to borrow money from his friends or parents. He is ashamed. And he is in no hurry to get a job. He probably hopes that he will persuade his wife to give him money for the trip.